Hello, hello. Sorry, I'm a little late starting this stream today. I am going to be playing around with the GitHub MCP server. It's one of the most popular MCP servers, and I just started playing around with it a couple days ago, and it's really compelling what it can do. I spent a lot of my life in GitHub, and so if I can somehow be more productive when using GitHub, that seems like a good thing. So hello, hi Ravi, hi Mertcan, and yeah, so let me go ahead and make that screen nice and big. All right, maybe I'll like that. All right, so here's the GitHub MCP server. This page here has all the information about how to install it in your favorite MCP client. Now, the interesting thing about the GitHub MCP server is that you can authenticate to it in two different ways. Now, obviously, we need to authenticate it because it is getting access to our GitHub account. And there's two different ways you can authenticate. One of them is simplest, that's with OAuth, and it'll authenticate and it'll give access to basically your entire GitHub account, all your repositories, all your organizations, etc. The other option, which it takes a little more setup but does give you more control, is to use a GitHub personal access token. And that way you could, if you wanted to, set up a personal access token that only has access to certain repos, only has access to do certain things. So if you were worried about, potentially destructive actions when given access to everything, you could get much more specific by passing in a personal access token instead. But both of these are, fairly secure because we're not storing. Even this one, you don't store the keys in the configuration itself. It gets stored in the client. So you can install it in your favorite MCP hosts. So GitHub Copilot in VS Code or other IDEs or Claude Desktop, Cursor, Windsurf, etc. Okay, so I have it installed over in my VS Code. So let me close some things. So if we go over to extensions, what you can see is now under extensions, you can actually see what servers you have installed. So I already installed this server, but if you wanted to install it this way, you click on this little globe, and that goes to browse MCP servers. And here we can see GitHub is the number one. There's Figma, Playwright. I thought Playwright was even built in now, but if it's not, you should definitely install it. Sentry, Hugging Face, Markdown, nice. Microsoft Docs, that's a good one if you are a Microsoft or Azure customer to get easy access to those docs. I probably should install that, to be fair. And that one doesn't even require a key. So here, when I click on that, it opens up the Microsoft Docs in my VS Code, and then I can click install on it. So now I've got Microsoft Docs, and we can look on here, and you can see that I think the server is already starting because of what options it has. And then this one also. So GitHub, I need to start that server. So let me start it. Okay, and so then what I can do, so I've got those two installed, and I can go and say MCP list servers, and so we can see I've got the Azure MCP, I've got a Pylon's MCP server, I've got GitHub, and I've got Microsoft Docs, right? So it says GitHub and Microsoft Docs are both running, so that's good. All right, so it's a little confusing because you can have MCP servers that show up in your extensions, and then you could also have MCP servers that are configured like because of your there's a lot of different places that you could configure MCP servers. And this one I think is configured. The Azure one comes from the Azure extension, right? So some MCP servers come from extensions. Both of these come from extensions. Wonder what happens if we click on these. Oh, okay, it just says stop server, restart server. Okay. So some MCP servers are as a part of an existing extension. And then some of them are just standalone servers that you would install separately. Oh yeah, Ravi says the Context 7 MCP. Okay, let me go ahead and install that because you did talk about that yesterday during the MCP dev days, and it does look pretty cool. Although people are saying, it uses a lot of tokens, which makes sense. So context 7 is a way to get like the documentation. Oh, and it even says the number of tokens. That's really cool. And snippets, interesting. Okay. And I think yesterday somebody used it to actually get the MCP documentation. Maybe you have to search for, oh man, there's a lot of things. MCP Python. Is that going to find anything? Python MCK client. Oh, so it's kind of based off of where it is in GitHub. Is that right? Okay, so for MCP, I would actually look for like model context protocol, and then I could search for Python. Okay, that's probably how I'd get that one. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, so it looks like it's grabbing the documentation from GitHub repos and also from websites. So this one, you can either, it'll has it from there or there. But we can also just install the MCP server. So let's go to context 7, see how to install in VS Code. All right, what if I just click this? So I'm in Insiders, and I'm going to open it, and that opens this thing here. I guess, so this one is not a remote server, it's an NPX server, so hopefully my NPX command works. The other two that I installed were remote servers. Okay, so now we've got context 7 installed. We've got docs, we've got GitHub. Okay. All right. And there we go. Okay. So now I've got context 7 installed now too. Hello, John. All right. We got a party now. Okay. So, all right. So now we've got some MCP servers. We've got 5 servers, 2 from extensions, 3 from that we manually installed. So now we should be able to do some stuff. All right. So let me see, like find the the most recent well, you know what I was using this for was to find stale issues in my GitHub repo. So we've got Azure Search OpenAI demo, and it's got quite a few issues, and it's just because I'm bad at closing issues, and a lot of them are kind of obsolete at this point, and I should close them. And I do have the stale bot running, but I guess I don't have the stale bot auto closing because sometimes stale bot is a bot that goes through and like marks things as stale when nobody has commented on them in a certain amount of time. And sometimes that's good, but other times it closes things that are legitimate issues. And you're like, no, don't close that, no. So I think the stale bot is configured here just to mark as stale, and it doesn't actually close things, right? So I'm gonna say find the oldest stale issue in Azure Search OpenAI demo. All right. So let's see, and I'm going to be specific because I have a fork of that too. So I'm going to be specific about the org because I don't want it to look at my fork. Because I remember this, it should have access to everything. So is it going to use, it says, let me activate the GitHub tools. Now let me search. So you can see it's running list issues. Oh, even when I click on it, it shows the GitHub server that's running. And we can see the number of tools. So it's got 78 tools. Microsoft Docs is 1 tool. I assume it's a search tool. Context 7 has 2 tools. Okay, we can also just look at the tool list here too, right? So while it's running, so here's all the built-in tools from VS Code, and then we have the GitHub tools. There's quite a few, and I actually just even filed a feature request yesterday asking for another tool. Context 7 has Get Library Docs and Resolve Library ID. And then Microsoft Docs has a search. Okay, so that makes sense. So it's funny. Some of ours have a lot of tools, some have little. All right. So it got an issue, right? So you can see it did a couple things. It did list issues. And interestingly, I thought it would like pass in a tag here, but it must have, it's just ordered by oldest and it got 100. So it could look and see. So maybe they don't have the ability to, like this list issues, maybe it doesn't have the ability to pass in a tag. That would be good if it did, because then it would use less tokens. So that would be a good feature request for the GitHub MCP server. Because one of the big issues here is that when we use these MCP tools, like we can end up using like a lot of tokens. All right, so it found that first issue is oldest and has a stale label. It's going to dig into that specific issue and get back the full response. And then it summarizes that. So now funny about this one should probably stay open. It's certainly still an issue. There's not much we can do about it. But it's actually a valid issue and I'm not going to close it. So So let me find one. Let's find ones. Okay. That one shouldn't be closed. Find another 5 old stale issues. Give a 2-sentence summary. Let's say that look like they can be closed due to being obsolete. Let's just do one. So find another. Okay, we'll start with this. Find another 5 old stale that looks like we closed. For each one, summarize with 2 sentences and provide a good reply for closing it. Okay, so let's see. So it's gonna go and and it already had a bunch of issues from before, so maybe it's not refetching the old issues because it's got information. So it's just going through and looking at the ones from before. So that's good. So not having to redo that queries. It's got that conversation history still. So it's just going and looking at the ones from before and grabbing it. I don't even need my editor here. Is there a way? Can I like full screen this? Yes. All right. Nice. Okay. Here are 5 as your principal. Transit AD issue. We got a nice little reply. So this is nice. Oh, but it didn't give me the links. I need links for each one too, please. All right. So we got to be specific. Okay, so now we get the link, right? And so I could go there and I could close it myself. I could also try to ask. This is where it gets crazy, but it's nerve-wracking to ask an MCP server to do a write action for us, but we can do write actions, I think, meaning that we can actually ask it to close the issue for us. So I might say like, okay, close issue 8 with the suggested reply. All right, let's see if that works. Actually, I've never tried doing this. Okay, I even gave it the URL just to be very clear. All right, so it's going to close it, and it's going to ask me for permission for this because I've never done this. So it says it's going to do issue number 8, state closed, and that's the edit issue tool. Okay, so I'm going to allow, so now I have to decide, am I going to, like, I can either like manually confirm it each time. I could allow in this session. I could allow in this workspace. I could always allow. So I'll say allow in this session. Okay, so now it's going to add a comment. Oh, so it closed the issue and then it's going to add the comment. Interesting. Okay. All right, so I'm going to also allow this one in the session. And okay, it says it's closed it. So let's check that out. Okay. Yeah, the last time. All right. It does make me nervous to close things, but also once again, like these things haven't been commented on for 2 years. So, that feels okay. So what could be nice is if like, if I'm going to do this a lot frequently, I could make this into a prompt. So we could go back over to the workspace here and say, like, I could either there's a few different ways you can kind of customize your agent experience. You could do a mode or you could do a prompt. But I think I'm going to add a new prompt file, put it in GitHub/prompts, and I'll call it the stale closer or stale or issue closer, issue finder, stale. I don't know. Stale finder. Okay. All right. So in this thing, we're going to do mode agent, and I'll just ask the agent mode to come up with this. Like, all right, suggest fill in. We're just going to tell it to do this with a prompt based off this session that I can always use in order to find an old stale issue and get the necessary info about. All right, let's see what it says. Okay. All right, so as it's doing it, so also, are any of you using the GitHub MCP server? And if so, what are you doing with it? Like, what else, what else could I be doing with it? It's got 78 tools. So I feel like there's a lot potentially that we could be doing with it. All right, so this is find 5 to 10 old sale issues, search for sale issues, examine each issue, categorize obsolescence. I don't think I've ever used that term. Issue number, GitHub link, brief summary, suggested coloring. Okay. All right. Avoid closing issues. Okay. All right. It's like maybe too verbose, but it's not bad. What would be nice? All right. Well, first let's try this one. All right. So now we should be able to say, now we should be able to actually, let me do a new session and say /stale finder, find 3 issues. Okay. So now when I do the /stale finder, it knows to go to stalefinder.prompt.md, and it basically pipes all of that into the prompt, and then also adds whatever else I added on there. So it's looking for the issues. So it did list issues again because I started a new chat, and then it's getting the details, it's getting the comments. Oh, so interesting. The details, I guess, are separate from the comments. So it's looking at both of them. Comments, okay, and issue comments. Issue comments. Okay, so I wonder if it always has to get the issue. It only seemed to have gotten them for 13. So does the issue details? Maybe sometimes they don't have comments. So I guess we can look and see. Maybe only that first one had a bunch of comments. I don't know. Ooh, and look at these. Oh, I like this. It's checking the current state of the code base to see these issues have been solved by subsequent changes. Ooh, that is cool. See, that's what's really nice about running this inside. I do have this repo open, by the way, right now. So that's what's really nice about doing that. Is that it's got access to the repo. Now, to be fair, I don't have it open to main. I should probably be on main when I'm doing this. I'm on a different branch. Okay, so now this one definitely, that one should work now. Okay. This is now obsolete. Okay. SL. Okay. Well, what I really would love is that, like, if it could open up the GitHub page with the suggested closing reply, and then I could like modify it a little bit there, because I mostly like these replies, but sometimes they're a little too presumptuous. But they're like pretty good. Okay, well, I think what I should do is really just do one at a time. Okay, so that was really nice. I'll tell it, okay, close issue 13. I think that can be closed. Issue 13 and 42. Close issue 13 and issue 42 with the suggested replies. Just make sure. Okay. All right. Okay. And then going back to Stale Finder. So I thought it was really cool. Okay. Search for stale issues, examine each issue, categorize obsolescence. What I wanted to do is examine each issue. And then now this time it actually did like search docs and repo. Search the local code base to see if code has changed in a way that resolved the issue. Particularly also look at docs, also looks at readme.md and all the markdown files in /docs to see if app, it provides more options that weren't available before. Okay. Only high confidence changes. Okay. All right. Let me just do one more of these. All right. So now stale finder, find one issue to close. So I kind of want to do it one at a time because it's just easier to look at, to look at each one. Maybe I should just change this, like say like you are getting tasked to find the specified number of find the specified number of stale issues. Okay, there we go. All right. Oh, this is so fun. Okay. So now this time you can see it's looking at README, and then it also was searching for markdown files, right? So it definitely helped that I told it specifically what I meant by docs, right? So it's able to go straight to README and straight to looking through all the markdown files. So I think that helped quite a bit. And so it says it's a perfect candidate for closure. Very good. Issue closed. Oh my gosh, it went ahead and it issued. Okay. I think it went and it closed it already. I didn't tell it to close it, I don't think. Let's see okay, it did close it. All right, that's the thing. You do have to be a little careful with empowering your agents and with letting them always run something. I was like, so I could specifically tell it like, hey, oh, did I say find and close? Okay. Yeah. So probably I wasn't specific enough. Tasked with finding, well, it's finding old ones that can be safely closed, right? And then constraints. Do not actually close them yourself. Wait for confirmation from user about which issues to close. Oh, did I? Okay, you're saying in the chat. What did I say? Find one issue to close. Okay, yeah, I mean, that could be interpreted. I meant one issue that could be closed, but that could be interpreted as please close it. I'll say do not actually close themselves unless specifically told to do so. Usually the user, typically you will ask the user if they want to close and if they have any changes to your suggested reply. Okay. All right. So there we go. I hope that this was a good one. Fails due to Git. Yeah, I think this could be closed. That was a long time ago. Okay. I think that was reasonable. Hopefully I don't close any of your issues that you don't like the response. I don't think there's any from you all, but okay, let's try this. Okay. Find one more issue. Okay, this time I didn't say to close because let's see. Now the thing, like, I could do this a lot and I could like develop my confidence over time, like of okay, yeah, this looks like good. And then at that point, I could actually automate it. So I think the next step, what I wanted to try was actually pointing an agents framework at the GitHub MCP server to see, if I did want to like truly automate it, like what that would look like. Now, the only thing is that this one's using it in VS Code is really nice because it already has local access to the docs. But I think that the GitHub tools, let's look at the GitHub tools here. GitHub. So does it have like a search docs or something? Search issues, search code that's across GitHub. Update issue, push files. Get job logs. I guess the other thing I could do, yeah, I don't see any tools here that are really searching the repo itself, but it's possible. Let me see if I can dig into the search code. How does that one work? Let me see if, can I like get more information on it or something? Okay, so let's see. Recommended issue closure, deployment failed. Okay, yeah. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so here's my question is, can I automate this in such a way that I can still get it to search the docs? So let me take a look at the GitHub MCP server at the search code. I think it was called search code, right? So we go here and look at GitHub again, GitHub down here. And it was called search code. Okay. So I'm going to check search code to see how it's implemented, like what args it takes. Maybe it's here. Search.go, search code, fast and precise code, search query. So the thing is, like, what do you really want? I wanted to just look at the entire README and docs. It doesn't seem to have just kind of a fetch file tool. I could implement that myself. I have another tool which just implements that manually. It's a little more work because I got to set up the authentication and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm a little torn. Okay, I'm a little torn. Yeah, search code looks, it would work for the most part, like, but it's searching. Wait, search code, user title, sort field, order, query. Does it take path? It doesn't take path. I think I'm gonna have to do another. Wait, supports existing. Oh, it does support path filters. Okay, this might work. Let me tell it to, let's try and explicitly target it and see if that'll work. Okay. Fetch the latest. All right, let's check. Use the search. Let's be really explicit. Use the search code tool from GitHub MCP server in order to find references to multimodal in Azure samples, Azure Search OpenAI demo. Okay, so we're going to be super specific and just see what the abilities of this search code tool are, and make sure it actually can do what I'm imagining. So here you can see it said multimodal, and it actually just did repo:/. So that's good. It'll check the main branch. And then it got back some results. A little hard to read the results. Okay, so it found, what is the results? It's kind of hard to read those results. They should really like pretty print this result here. Let's see, let's getting the file contents. Oh, so get file or directory contents. Wait, what was that? Get file or directory contents. That's what I wanted. Oh, nice. Okay. If it does have a get file or directory content. Somehow I didn't see that before. Let me look at this one again. GitHub. Get file. Oh, get file contents. Okay, great. So it has get file contents. It has search code. With those things combined, because we could just even tell it like, hey, use get file contents in order to get the README and search the rest of the markdown files. Like read the whole README, search the rest of the markdown. So it can do these things. So it's and then it's decided to search again with some other queries. GPT-4o. Okay, so it got some other, it's being very comprehensive. Okay. Oh, now it's searching for vision. All right, it's going hard on the searching. I wonder what my usage is like, right? How do we, oh, this is the usage, right? Oh, no, that's not the usage. How do we look at our usage? It's down here, this one. Okay, usage. Oh, look at those. My usage, by the end of this stream, I will have used everything. So I'm at 65% of premium requests. Luckily, my allowance resets tomorrow. So that's good. Let's go ahead and try to use up all those premium requests in the next 20 minutes. Okay. So it came back with all the things that are related to multimodal. Very cool. All right, so GitHub Server definitely has the tools we need. So that means, in theory, I could fully automate this. So now I'm going to go to open another repo. Let me go over here and open up. Where do I want to do this in? On my recent live stream, I pointed a bunch of agent frameworks at MCP servers. So let's go ahead and use those. Does anyone have a vote for which agent framework we use? We could do LangChain, Pydantic AI, or OpenAI agents. Let's see, Pydantic AI, Python. I've got too many repos. I know this is always my problem, is too many repos. There we go. Okay. All right. John votes for LangGraph. All right. And then the question is, John, are we going to use the fancy graph? Here's the thing is that I'm not so good at the LangGraph. I have two examples here, right? I've got this one. This is the simpler one. It uses the React agent. And then we have like the actual graph. So I would be tempted to start with the simpler one with the React agent, the built-in agent, just because I'm not so good at making graphs. But okay, so here we have LangGraph MCP. So this one is currently pointing at a local server running, local MCP server running. So let's just make sure that that one's still working. All right, so let me run my run this basic server here so we can make sure that the LangGraph example works with that server. Okay, it's running on 8,000. All right, and then we can go and run this LangGraph code here, right, and see that it's working and get in LangGraph MCP hp.py. All right. So that should use the hotel finding tool from the MCP server and come back with some hotels to use. This is using, I think, Azure OpenAI right now, using a deployment here that I have with GPT 4.0. So let's go back to that. Great, we got back a response. So this is working. It found some hotels and then it summarized it. All right, so now let's go ahead and let me copy this file into a new file. So we call it MCP GitHub. I'm so good at copying. All right, we're going to go examples, LangGraph, MCP, hp.py, and then did LangGraph, GitHub, MCP, GitHub.py. Okay. All right, now we've got our GitHub example. So we need this thing here to match the GitHub configuration. So we can go back to that, go back to the GitHub MCP server docs and take a look at this configuration here. And then we're going to have to figure out how to pass in the authentication. This is the hard part. I have never done this. Okay, so wait, we need to match it. It's not going to be exactly like that. We're going to take the, because this is the VS Code configuration. We're going to take the URL. That's going to go there. Okay, so that is correct. Transport, Streamable HTTP, that's correct. And then the big question is, how do we specify, how do we use OAuth with that? Oh, probably what we're going to do is pass in the PAT, right? A personal access token. So let's see, we could, we need to figure out how to do this. Okay, so there's args, there's transport. How do we do it? All right, let's see if, let's see if LangChain has some documentation about how we do it. So in VS Code, if we were going to pass in the PAT, we would do it as headers authorization. So the question is, do we have a way of doing that with this one? All right. So it's going to have server connections, transport, args, server name, get tools. Da, da, da. All right, let's just go to the GitHub issue tracker and see if anyone's asked about this. MCP auth. Using lane graph and MCP is difficult. Okay, I just want to see args-y. Args doesn't really make sense because we're doing an HTTP one. Let me see if there's something like headers. Headers. Okay, let's look again at here and see. Let's just dig in to this code here. Command URL. All right, do we have any other options? It's going to be kind of sad if we can't do. Might have to look at one of the other SDKs if this one's not supporting it. Let's see. So URL showed up there. Where is it passing through these connections? Oh, connection. There we go. Let's look at connection. All right. Connection. Okay. Streamable HP connection. Great. There we go. Okay. They should probably document this. All right. Headers. That's what we need is headers. Oh, auth. There's specific auth. Oh, that's an HPX auth. Okay. I think we could go with headers since we have a clear example of how to do that. So we're going to go headers, and headers is going to be a dictionary. That makes sense. So it's going to be authorization. Great. Okay. All right. I think I might already have a GitHub token in my environment. So we'll just try with that one because it's, I have this one here. Okay. So I think I've already got a GitHub token set. It might be expired. We'll find that out soon. So that should be enough. If we go back here, we don't need the inputs. That's for VS Code, just bearer token. So that should be good. Okay. Great. So the next step is going to be, let's go and grab our, grab that nice prompt from before. Oh, it's really long. All right, we're gonna put that, maybe should we stick that in a file? Do I have any prompt files in here yet? No. Okay. All right, we'll just put it in a text file, I guess. Because we don't need it to pass any variables into here. Okay, we'll just call it stale prompt.md. All right, load in prompt from stale prompt.md. Agent, is there really an agent.load prompt, or they make that up? They made that up. You silly. A stale prompt. Okay. All right. Here we go. Stale prompt plus find one issue. All right. So that basically mimics what we were doing in VS Code. Okay. So now gonna run it and see if that works. Ready? Moment of truth. Let's see, github.py. I'm guessing most likely this GitHub token is going to need more access. Yeah. Okay. So it says 400 bad requests. So let me go ahead and set up a personal access token that has more, more options. Also, it probably doesn't know. Does this know which repo? It doesn't even know which repo. So where was it even going? Okay. So it didn't even know. All right. So we should probably also say that too. All right, so we're going to go down to settings, which is actually over here. Settings, here we go. Settings, developer settings, and personal access tokens, fine-grained tokens, generate new token, do the fancy two-factor. Okay. All right. And I'm going to call this as your samples stale finder. The resource owner is going to be as your samples. And the cool thing with this, I could give it access just to that one repo. So I could be like, really, that's what I like about using the pat, right? Is that then I could be really super specific about it. Here we go. All right, so just that repo. And then I kind of want to give it lots of access, but let's see. It doesn't actually need everything. It needs contents. So I'm going to say, I'll just say, well, this really just needs a read. It needs, we'll give it access to issues, read and write, because that could be useful. And we'll give it read and write to, so discussions and issues. We want read and write to both of those. Pull request, might want to read those. Secrets variant. Okay, so that's actually, I think, all it needs. Let's try this. Generate token. Okay, and don't look at that. Don't look at it. Oh, I didn't even have my, oh, there was no GitHub token in here. All right. Usually what I do is I put it way at the bottom. I'm just going to move it over here. Oh, move my VS Code where you can't see it while I put in the token. Oh, and you can even see on the screen, but you can't see the whole thing. All right. Oh, now you can, oh my gosh. It's so hard to, all right. I'll probably just regenerate it after. Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to regenerate it now and do that better. All right, I'm going to move everything off the screen. Let's do this the right way. I'm going to move everything off the screen. I'm going to regenerate the token, generate the token. All right, so the one you saw is no longer valid. Now I'm going to fix that up. Okay. All right. Forget you saw anything. It's all hidden at the bottom of my .env. Yeah, I regenerated the token. So the old token is now no longer usable. So I know you wanted to close my issues for me, but now you cannot. All right. So now it's in that .env, and this should load in. Yeah, this loads in the .env, so it should get the GitHub token from there. And let's change this to say find one info from Azure samples, Azure search OpenAI demo. That is potentially closable. All right, closable. All right. Okay, let's try it again. See if we're gonna get farther than the 400. Dun, 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 dun. If we get, I guess it also, the thing is this whole process is kind of slow, and I'm not like I should like stream back the results. I really should stream back. Okay, stream mode. Is this? It's not streaming back. So how do we do streaming with LangGraph? Let's see, because I feel like it's actually working because it's not saying anything yet, which indicates something's happening, right? It didn't get that really early 400 error, so probably means it's actually doing something. But what is it doing is a good question. So LangGraph streaming a invoke. Let's see, streaming mode. Oh, okay, so you actually have streaming modes. Okay, that would make sense because it's like an agent, so it's not just a single text response. So let's see. So something like that. Okay, you can stream outputs past one or the following modes to a stream or a stream. So values, updates, custom, messages, debug. We'll just try something. Okay, for chunk and agent stream. Okay. Well, right now it's doing definitely doing something. I can either wait for it or it'll probably just like close and then we'll see. So you want to do there's this one, a stream events. Interesting. Is that older? Because this one is saying agent.stream. So you're using a stream events. Let me search for that one in another tab. A stream events. Just wondering if that's a current one. Oh, how did it say a stream events? A stream events. I think that they might have deprecated a stream events because this is like this link doesn't work anymore. So I think that the equivalent one would be agent on stream, and then we have to decide whether it's going to be values, updates, messages, or debug. Let me see if we can really find a stream events deprecated. Also, probably I can see. Let me see if I actually reference it in the code. Oh my God, it's still going. Okay, agent.aStreamEvents. It'll tell me if it's deprecated or not. Looks like it actually should work. Okay, doesn't say deprecated. Okay, so aStreamEvents, messages version v2. Okay, but then is that what is that giving back? Is it giving back a async iterator? Okay. So then you're doing like for event in agent.aStreamEvents and then passing in the messages and the version. Okay. Messages. And then version equals v2. Okay. Is that what it's going to get back? Async. Async for event. Async for event. Okay, and then event. What does event have on it? Standard stream event. Okay. Can we go standard stream event? Go to definition. I want to see standard stream event. What is a standard stream event? Let me go to this definition and let me go to stream event. Union. Okay, a stream event has an event, a name, and data and name. Okay. All right. John's getting me an example. Because, oh my gosh, it's still running. I'm going to close it because that's taking too long. So we're going to print, even printing event, which would be pretty good. We can also, let me bring in, do I have rich in here? Rich. Pip freeze, grep, rich. Do I have rich? I love rich. I should have rich. I almost always have rich. Yeah, I do have rich. Okay, great. From rich import print. Okay, we'll just print event. All right. So now, oh yeah, John, the links aren't showing up. Oh yeah. I think that's like, YouTube has like special permissions around when you can share links. I don't know if there's there's no way I can like give you permission. You sent on LinkedIn. All right, let me open up my LinkedIn right now and check it out. Okay, great. Got it. Okay. All right, so let's open up the example that John sent here. All right, invoke our graph. Asynchronous stream for event in runnable stream events. Kind equals event. Kind equals on chat mouse stream. Okay. Okay. So you get like a bunch of examples, and this is using placeholder. Oh, this is for Streamlit. Okay. Okay, so it seems like if I was going to do a thing, I would I can bring like that's okay. I'll just do the rich dot print now just so we can see something's happening. And then I could get fancier based off of the event kind. All right. I just want to see some progress from the agent because, oh, here we go. Okay, great. So now stuff's happening. And oh my gosh, a lot of stuff is happening. Okay. All right. So probably a little too verbose here. But it's definitely, it's using MCP server. So it's great. It's using the MCP server. It's able to find stuff. Did I tell it like how to search? I told it to search the code base using, search code tool and get file tool from GitHub MCP server. And also look at, okay, so that I think would be better for that. All right, so where is it at this point? It found a bunch of issues, and here's the original message. So on chat model start was the original one. Okay, so here's the question is like, okay, we finally got something. All right, nice. That was a lot faster. It says, I found a stale issue that appears to be closable. And it says there's the reason, suggested closing reply, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to proceed with closing issue? And you need any changes, suggested closing reply. Okay, so this works. It's very cool. The question is, 5 minutes left, what is the right UI for this? Now, I actually think what is like the ideal is, this is what LangChain talked about at a meetup last week, is this agent inbox. The idea for when you've got, agents which are human in the loop, like you want to have this like UI where you can see like, okay, here's the suggestion. Do you want to go with it? Right. And then, you would click on it and be like, oh, confirm. I do want to close it. I do want to close it. I do want to close it. Right. That's the ideal. Now, do I want to build an agent inbox for all this stuff? And then also, do I always want to manually close it, right? Because I could also have it return with a confidence level and say like, okay, I've got high confidence. I can say like, okay, if you got high confidence, then just close it on my behalf. If you got low confidence, send it to the inbox. Can we look at the agent inbox here? Assistant graph ID. Oh, this is if you've got a deployed lane graph. Okay. Oh, interesting. So this is like generic. Ooh. So if I deploy this on lane graph, so this will generically work for any lane graph agent. What? No way. Okay. I want to get this working now. Okay. Minimum. Okay. So what does the minimum agent inbox lane graph example? So the minimal thing here is, I'm looking at the code, source agent. Okay. Oh, this is from Brace. He's the one who gave the talk. Okay. So graph.py. So you'd have the human interrupt. Okay. So this is where you get a bit fancier with the graph. So I would need to do like a fancy graph thing, so which had a human node. Oh, this is so cool though. Okay. Let me just also share these links in the chat. Okay, so really cool. So as long as you added a human node, then I think that it's a pre-built interrupt. So as long as you added a human node, the agent inbox would know to send it to the inbox. Okay, and then you can agent inbox, and you can deploy it. Oh, so you can just run these lane graph server locally. How do you run a lane? I've never even, oh, okay, lane graph dead. Okay. Oh, so I could even point lane graph dev. Oh, wait, does this really work? So you can just do lane graph dev and it'll, oh, you have like a lane graph.json. Oh, okay. So dependencies, graphs, agent, graph, blah. Okay. Okay. Really cool. Okay. So I don't have it properly set up. But then you would be able to run this. Oh, this is so cool. Okay. All right. Well, I feel like that's the ideal, right? Because then I could just, send it to the inbox and then, decide what to do. Because I don't fully, I could ask it, I could just say to go like, oh, so I have like the more like the lighter weight option would just be to do this as a, use just the input, like use Python input in order to send a message back to the agent, right? And then it could keep going. So that would be lighter weight, and maybe I should, maybe that would be the easier thing to do to start off with. For now, let me go ahead and I can push this to the repo. If anyone wants to try it out. There's no secrets in here. Let me remove this. Okay. It'd be better if I didn't show everything from the events, but for now, it's a start. And steal prompt. Okay. All right. I'll push it there, add GitHub MCP Server example. So what we've seen is we can use the MCP server from VS Code. We can use the MCP server from an agent. And really the question is, what is the human interaction model going to look like? When do we want to bring human in the loop? How fancy do we want to get with that human in the loop? And is it worth it to add a big setup? Okay, so here is that example. All right, and there we go. So that is what I wanted to do today, was play around with that server some more, see if we could point an agent framework at it. And I think it's really exciting, and there's definitely some next steps I could go with it if I wanted to take it further. Maybe we will in the future. Let me know if there's other things you want me to explore. There's always new things happening in the AI space, and it's fun to figure them out. And I have office hours today too. Today's Thursday, right? So I have office hours like in 2 hours. So I'll also be in the AI Discord for office hours pretty soon. So we can keep doing stuff in the office hours as well. All right. That's all for today. Thanks everyone for joining, and for all the great questions and help. Thank you, John, for finding that. And I'll see you next time. Bye.